Welcome to BBC London with me, Assad Ahmed. Coming up on the programme. Tearing up the rule book for Greenbelt land, the self-proclaimed greenest mayor of London wants to build homes in protected areas. Opinion is divided.
We absolutely welcome anything that's going to be done to build the homes that people need, because we've got an enormous crisis at the moment.
He's made a complete U-turn and seems to have abandoned good growth in favour of growth at all costs.
Well, the plan is controversial to say the least. Also on the programme, a campaign group wins a landmark ruling against a low-traffic neighbourhood. We look at what it means for LTNs across London. Also tonight, we go on the streets of Southall to hear from people affected by escalating tensions in India and Pakistan. Proving the secret to success, a bakery in Hackney wins big for their work taking on at-risk young people. And the peregrine falcon laying new eggs weeks after previous ones were destroyed by an intruder. Very good evening. The Mayor of London isn't shy to take on a fight when it comes to the environment. Sir Sadiq Khan openly calls himself the greenest mayor London has ever had. It's why it's come as a surprise that he wants to rip up the rule book so he can start building on protected Greenbelt land. That's land which covers around 1,800 square miles in and around London, and it's there to prevent what the government calls urban sprawl. So it's fair to say, if the mayor thinks his idea to build homes on it will go unopposed, well, he'd be wrong. Here's our correspondent, Tom Edwards.
What do you feel are the dangers that threaten the green belt?
Well, we only fear the developing builder and any change in government policy.
The debate around the Greenbelt hasn't changed much since its creation in the 1960s. Surrounding London, it's meant to restrict urban sprawl. At a building site in southeast London and a big policy U-turn from the mayor, he now wants to explore using the Greenbelt for homes.
City Hall's new position will be to actively explore the release of parts of London's Greenbelt for development.
Nobody's talking about building on our gorgeous parks, not at all. What we're talking about is meeting the needs of our city by building on poor quality, badly maintained, inaccessible green belt.
You call yourself London's greenest mayor. This isn't really what London's greenest mayor should be doing, though, is it?
I think nature and homes go hand in hand. It's a false choice to choose between house building and protecting the environment.
At Vicarage Farm in Enfield, the council wants to build nearly 4,000 homes here. And while the mayor says the focus would be on low-quality land and there would be conditions on affordable housing and transport links, opponents say building on the Greenbelt is a betrayal.
We are very disappointed. He's made a complete U-turn and seems to have abandoned good growth in favour of growth at all costs.
In Enfield, this was the reaction.
I think we need, parks where we can go and, enjoy, bring our kids. And now it's all everywhere, just building flats, flats and flats.
I think there's plenty of other places that things can be built in London rather than destroying the Greenbelt.
I think it would be such a shame to lose such, a beautiful green belt.
City Hall says London needs about 88,000 homes each year to meet demand. Supporters say releasing Greenbelt could help.
We've got an enormous crisis at the moment of people in temporary accommodation who are homeless, people being driven into poverty and debt, and not enough social homes being built as well. So it's really important that the mayor pulls every lever he can to address this crisis.
The mayor is now on a collision course with opponents, including some councils. And there are now considerable questions over what happens to London's Greenbelt and what it's there for.
Yeah, Tom, as we saw in your piece, opinion is divided. So is the mayor brave because he's proposing building on Greenbelt land, or should I say extremely naive?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the Mayor and his team know that they were going to get strong reactions from this, as we just saw in the report. So I don't think it's naivety, and his opponents think that basically he's doing what he's told by central government. And interestingly, this idea isn't new. It has been suggested before by think tanks, but politicians of all parties would not touch it with a barge pole. I did put it to the Mayor that this is politically risky, particularly when there are local council elections next year, and he said he just couldn't keep his head in the sand on the housing numbers, which aren't good. But his team acknowledged there's a lot of explaining to do what they actually mean, particularly this definition of low quality land, grey belt as they call it. But there's no doubt there is going to be a big backlash. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to hear a lot about it. I know you're across it. Tom, thanks very much. Now, a low traffic neighbourhood scheme put in place by Lambeth Council has been found to be unlawful. Local people in West Dulwich mounted a legal challenge and say the ruling sends a clear signal to all councils nationwide. LTNs, as they're known, are hugely controversial and have grown in number across London since the COVID pandemic. Speaking to today's successful action group has been Victoria Hollins.
This is a low-traffic neighbourhood scheme, and vehicles aren't allowed on this stretch of road.
They've blocked off the road, so you've got no entries here, you've got no entries coming up. People get confused.
But this LTN has been ruled unlawful. The High Court said that Lambeth Council had failed to consider a dossier of evidence of residents' concerns.
I didn't know. On these roads, it might be nice and quiet, but there's a low impact. And then on the boundary roads, there's a high impact. And actually, you're doing more damage than good. We're worried about increased pollution. We're worried about our vulnerable people. We're worried about the poorer communities. We're worried about the businesses.
People are unsure what the rules and regulations are, so they tend to leave the area altogether, and with a consequential downturn in business.
This decision isn't about whether a court thinks low traffic neighbourhoods like this one are a good or a bad thing. It's more about a council's responsibility to listen to the concerns of its residents. Lambeth Council says it just wants to make neighbourhoods more pleasant. The council says this was part of our overall ambition to reduce road danger, encourage more active and sustainable travel and improve air quality. We acknowledge the court's decision and are carefully considering the implications.
As a driver, I don't like the way it pushes all the traffic onto one road, and that's obviously takes journeys much longer when you do need to use a car. But as a cyclist, I can see the benefit, obviously, with the kids. Right now, we can get through there, and I feel a lot safer with these guys on the bikes.
Did you know that you couldn't get through here?
No.
So how do you feel now you know that? What do you think of low traffic neighbourhoods?
They're probably a good idea.
Even though you just got caught out on one?
It's my fault, isn't it?
Over in East London, Tower Hamlets residents fought to keep an LTN in Bethnal Green, but they lost their case.
In Tower Hamlets, we have an LTN that is really positive. It has reduced road traffic accidents, so it's made us all safer. It's got more people walking and cycling, and it is popular. But yet the Mayor wants to take it out at a cost of £2.5 million to local residents.
So will the West Dulwich decision have wider implications?
I'd certainly like to think it has implications for councils democratically listening to their own residents. We're not saying LTNs are wrong, we're saying we believe this one is wrong.
This LTN will stay in place for now, and the schemes will keep dividing opinion. Victoria Hollins, BBC London.
Yeah, it does divide opinion, and there's more on that story on the BBC London website. But still to come on the programme this evening.
We've been following the ups and downs of a rare pair of peregrine falcons here at St Albans Cathedral, and after the sad news last month that their eggs had been crushed, we bring you a happy update.
As you may have heard earlier in the news hour, India's Premier League cricket has been suspended due to ongoing tensions this week between India and Pakistan. The situation is at the forefront of many people's minds here, people with connections to the subcontinent, people planning on travelling there. It's over the disputed territory of Kashmir. Well, Frankie McCamley has been hearing from people in Southall.
It's a busy and diverse high street in Southall with many different Asian communities living side by side, but with tensions escalating thousands of miles away in India and Pakistan. Some have concerns it could impact people here, including Aman, a council and youth worker who has family in India.
Historically, we have had tensions between people from India and Pakistani descent, and we get flashpoints during the cricket matches and things like that. So one of the things we are concerned about is that things do not ripple down here.
And you deal a lot with children in your work. What kind of messages would you be saying to them if you are even touching on this topic at all at the moment?
So it would be around just how we are a community, and it's about how we need to be a cohesive unit together. So the person on your left is a friend, is your neighbour, is your kind of colleague at school and everything like that. And this is what kind of brings our community together, and that's what we need to celebrate more.
Saeed has Pakistani heritage and runs this clothing store down the road.
In UK, we live together, right? And our customers, this brand is belong to Pakistan, yeah? So mostly customers belong from India, Bangladesh and Pakistan. They come here, very lovely people. We serve them, obviously. We never get any offended, targeting or anything. So people understand what's going on the international level. The government of our country should talk on the table and resolve it.
As for Sangina, she was hoping to travel to see family in India in the next few weeks, but has had to cancel plans.
I think it's very sad. They don't need to fight. There's no need for it. What is the reason why they're fighting?
And here in Southall, there are so many different communities living side by side.
Yes, yeah. I have a lot of Muslim customers coming to me.
And do you worry about tensions in the community here at all, or do you
I think so, yes. I've had a couple of people that have come in and given their opinion and said it's so-and-so's fault, it's so-and-so's fault. So yes, it can cause more problems here as well, definitely.
Yeah, some interesting views from some people in Southall who are speaking to Frankie McCamney about heightened tensions between India and Pakistan. And you can read more about what the dispute is about and get live updates as well by visiting the BBC News website or the BBC News app. Well, now a moment to take a look at some more of the day's local stories making the headlines. A new fire commissioner for London has been proposed by Mayor Sir Sadiq Khan. Jonathan Smith is currently the Deputy Fire Commissioner. His appointment will come after a hearing by London Assembly's Fire Committee. Mr Smith is expected to take up the role next month. Police have seized around £500,000 worth of suspected stolen tools after a crackdown in East London. Officers made 6 arrests and recovered around 1,000 items at a car boot sale in Romford. Residents in an apartment block in Harlow say they're in shock and are facing an uncertain future after being told to leave their homes. People at Redstone House were instructed to leave immediately by Essex Fire Service, who said the building is at fire risk. Harlow Council says it's working with the building owner and others to support all those affected. The new head of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo XIV, held his first Mass in the Vatican Sistine Chapel this morning. Nearly 1.5 billion Catholics globally are waiting to see the direction he'll lead the church in and address controversial issues. Issues including the LGBTQ community. Well, let's cross now to Bhavani Vadi, who's at Farm Street Church in Westminster for more on this. Bhavani.
Yes, its official name is the Church of the Immaculate Conception, and it's been home to the chaplaincy of the Diocese of Westminster to London's LGBT+ Catholics since 2013. The previous Pope, Pope Francis, met members of this community at the Vatican in 2019, which did cause some controversy, but was also seen as a significant step forward in making the Catholic Church more inclusive. Now, joining me now is Joe Stanley, chair of that community. Joe, what are your initial thoughts on the election of Pope Leo XIV?
Pretty positive, although we don't know very much about him other than that he's probably eaten more hot dogs than any other pope, and that he's had several really major jobs in the church as prior of the Augustinians and also as the man who's helped Pope Francis choose bishops around the world. He's also spent a lot of time riding horseback around his diocese in Peru, visiting indigenous people. So he's a very broad, complex man, but we believe a very humble, modest and open man.
Now, the previous Pope was described as a real game changer. Do you think that progress will continue under this new leadership?
I believe so. We know that he's very close to Francis in his way of thinking. He's very open to including people from the margins, helping the poor. And we know that during the synod he listened very attentively to the LGBT people who were speaking. So we believe that he will continue to support us.
Okay, and what kind of change do you think LGBT Catholics want to see going forward?
I'm not so sure we want to see a change, but what we actually want to see is the church to continue to be open and welcoming for people from all sorts of diverse backgrounds.
Lovely. So as this new papacy starts, communities in London and around the world will be watching closely how the church develops.
Yeah, they certainly will. Bhavani Vadi in Westminster, many thanks. Well, it's Friday, the 9th of May. The time is 6:47. Still to come on the programme.
Look, I'm 73. I want one trophy before I die. I'll die happy tomorrow.
He may do. They're through to the final. Tottenham fans keep hopes alive for their first trophy in 17 years. Before that, a bakery in East London has scooped the prestigious King's Award for Enterprise. The Dusty Knuckle supports at-risk young people by training and mentoring them and giving them a chance to succeed. Matt Graveling went to Dalston to find out the secrets to their success.
Born, bred and raised in a corner of Hackney, this business cares more about people than making a lot of dough.
Gives you a welcoming atmosphere to walk into, try something new, do something new and make something out of yourself.
Meet Cyril.
Mark!
One of hundreds of young people who have trained at the Dusty Knuckle, the bakery giving real-life work experience to those struggling to find a career path.
I'm an ex-prisoner. We all come from all different types of backgrounds, but we all meet up in one place. Like I am now able to pay for my own property, I live in my own house, and things like that that can move you forward towards the future.
And the Dusty Knuckle's future looks bright, having now received recognition from King Charles. It's one of 33 London businesses to receive a King's Award for Enterprise, with the bakery being recognised for promoting opportunities.
When you shine a light on the best bits of young people, they can do unimaginable things. We always say, if young people have a reason to be excited about their future, they'll choose to invest in their present.
Trainees come from a number of backgrounds, and 69% have had a custodial sentence. But following a 12-week programme, a total of 60% of everyone involved went on to find employment or further education. In total, more than 250 people have graduated from the Dusty Knuckle in the last 3 years alone. With so much now going on at a site that was once derelict, it's easy to forget just how far things have come.
The Dusty Knuckle has an extraordinary history. In 2014, they won this shipping container and made a bakery in it. Using these ovens, they sold loaves to local businesses. And their business grew, so they made a hatch and started selling sandwiches and coffees to local people. They then expanded into the building opposite. The shipping container is now used as a test kitchen, but it's been the training programme which has remained at the core of the business.
Sina is a graduate of the programme. He's gone on to become a head chef.
When coming out of jail, it's just like my mind's puzzled with what am I going to do. I have no experience in life with anything except crime. On my second day of release, I came in, I met Charlie. Going through that change in life really allowed me to grow.
And now, with a King's Award behind them, it's hoped that the chance to grow through dough will be available to many more people at this Hackney bakery. Matt Graveling, BBC London.
Wildlife experts are celebrating some good news, and it is good news about 2 peregrine falcons nesting on top of St Albans Cathedral. Easy for me to say. Last month, we reported the sad news of someone breaking their eggs, which was all captured on camera. But now, just take a look at this. This is the live scene on top of St Albans Cathedral. Now, Mum and Dad are Alban and Boadicea. I think, although I don't know, that that's Boadicea on her eggs. We understand one egg was laid on Sunday, another on Wednesday, and we've heard that there may have been a third egg laid today. We're not sure, but we'll find out because Alice Bander-Cravey has been over to St Albans to find out more.
Alban and Boudica have endured far more than could be expected. As a very rare pair of peregrine falcons, they are already under threat as a species. But this couple, who are bonded for life, suffered the trauma of their 3 eggs being destroyed by someone stepping onto them and crushing them last month. So it's almost miraculous that on the roof of St Albans Cathedral this week, they produced a new clutch of eggs, the 3rd of which arrived just a few hours ago.
That little perch up there, that's his favourite perching spot at the moment, seemingly.
For the team at Herts Wildlife Trust, it's a sign not only of the resilience of these birds of prey, but of their unbroken trust in their environment.
The fact that they've produced more eggs shows that they are really faithful to the site, firstly. It shows that this location is suitable for their nesting and that there's enough food for them. They've got the whole of the Ver Valley to choose their food from. Obviously they're getting enough of it to be able to produce enough eggs. And also they feel safe here. After a scare like that, it was feasible to imagine that they would have abandoned the site.
But they haven't, and neither have their fans. Hundreds of thousands of people have been following the twists and turns of the peregrine falcons on the live webcam that shows them in their nest and in person at the cathedral. This latest chapter in their story has brought much joy.
Can you see him? Can you see the post sticking out? Wow. And he's just sat on the edge, looking around quietly.
Oh my God! And since the incident that Hertfordshire police are still investigating, the cathedral is taking no chances.
What we did immediately after those terrible events is review all our procedures of where people go and authorisations and all those kind of things. You'll understand that this is a live police investigation now, so I'm not able to go into any more detail, but I want to say a huge thank you to the public for your care and concern, and to assure you that we have done everything we can with Herts Police, Herts Wildlife Trust and our own staff and our volunteers, everyone taking best care.
And with these devoted parents, the hope is the chicks will hatch healthy and strong next month. Alice Bandukravi, BBC London in St Albans.
Fingers crossed. We all love that story here at BBC London. Now to football, and a great night last night for Tottenham and Chelsea, who both made it through to finals of European competitions. Despite a disappointing season in the Premier League, Spurs could still end up with their first trophy in 17 years after victory last night in Norway. Chris Legg was there and he sent this report.
A trophy which obviously the club have wanted for years now. Everyone, the fans, the staff, and obviously us players too. So yeah, I think it's obviously been some tough games recently, but yeah, we've all played our part.
As Tottenham fans filter into the Norwegian night, they know their team is now just one win away from a first trophy in 17 years and qualification for the lucrative Champions League. Standing in their way in Bilbao, Manchester United.
Why is that important when, if it's so easy to get to a final, then why doesn't everyone who finishes in the top 3 do it?
Yeah, unbelievable feeling, of course. To be in a European final with Tottenham, I think it's a big thing for the fans, it's a big thing for the club, and for me personally, I'm really proud to be part of it.
Look, I'm 73. I want one trophy before I die. I'll die happy tomorrow.
Well pleased with the performance, especially second half. All we've got to do now is find a way at Bilbao.
Flight booked yesterday, you could cancel it within 24 hours. Have a bus from Madrid up to Bilbao and back, because the rooms in Bilbao are up to £1,000 a night.
And that Tottenham-Manchester United Europa League final is in 12 days' time. Now let's get the weather forecast from Thomas. So this could be the shortest weather forecast on record. You could sum it up in a word, really, couldn't you?
I could. Sunny. Yeah. Assad, it's over to you. No, I can't do that because it'll mess up the running order. So it really, really will. No, we have to give you the full forecast. Obviously, it was a fine day today. Temperatures reached about 20 degrees or so, maybe even a little bit more. Lots of sunshine on the way tomorrow. In fact, we're entering another quite a prolonged spell spell of warmth. Very little in the way of cloud on the satellite picture right now. Now, I don't want to give the impression that I'm guaranteeing completely dry weather over the next few days. We could be getting some showers Sunday and into next week. But that's still a bit of a question mark. For the time being, if you're thinking about tonight and into tomorrow, it is looking bone dry across the UK. So first, or across the southeast at least, and indeed much of the UK. 8 degrees Celsius in the city centre, a little bit colder in Luton there, 5 degrees. So it will be quite nippy first thing, but of course those temperatures shoot up, and then through the course of the afternoon, it'll feel like, well, the middle of June, with temperatures reaching values of around 22 or even 3 degrees Celsius. A little bit fresher there, closer to the Thames estuary, I think. So a stunning day, just a little bit of fair weather cloud building up. I mean, if you're a gardener, you might be wondering, well, we do need the rain. And in fact, it is certainly a little on the dry side. I mean, I can't do anything about that. We don't control the weather. All I can say is that it's just going to stay sunny, and the same goes for Sunday as well. Now, if you just see on the edge of the screen here, some showers developing. Now, these showers, the position of these is a little uncertain. They could be closer to London, but look at that. Overall, I think the main message is 24, mid-20s there on Sunday, with lots of sunshine, and those showers probably, or thunderstorms, missing us. So that's Sunday's forecast. Beyond that, there's another chance of catching 1 or 2 showers, I think, through Monday and Tuesday, but the computer's certainly not thinking that. Look at that. It's just those fried eggs. I think I've mentioned them before in the past, just pretty much as far as the eye can see. And like I said, those temperatures are more like June or even early July. Back to you.
Fantastic. What an outlook that is. Incredible. Thanks very much for that, Thomas. Well, that's it for now, but if you want to know how you can meet living descendants of author Charles Dickens at the writer's former home in Bloomsbury, then do go to the BBC London website. I'm back at 10:30 with our late news on BBC One and the iPlayer. Do enjoy your evening. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.